Good afternoon, Year 8s. Welcome back. Thank you for sitting nice and quietly. I should see you all with a notebook in front of you and a pen ready to begin our lesson. So let's start with our learning goal and success criteria. Could you please write these down in your notebook? Our learning goal is that we will be reviewing figurative language and identifying examples within our novel Bindi. We will also be analysing its effect through a well-structured analytical paragraph. So, how will you know you're successful? Well, you will know you're successful when you can explain the different types of figurative language, such as simile, metaphor, or personification, and you can identify at least 2 examples of this in our novel Bindi. So, who can recall what we learned last lesson? Yes? That's right, we looked at caring for country, and could you tell me what caring for country is? Fantastic! So, caring for country is when the First Nations people draw upon laws, knowledge, and culture that have been passed down through different generations to ensure the continued health of our land and our seas. And that is a common theme within our novel Bindi. So for today's warm-up, as always, you have 2 minutes to use the following letters on the board to come up with as many words that you can think of. So you will get 1 point for each word that you create. It must be at least 3 letters. You will get 2 points if you use the letter U. What letter was that, grade 8s? The letter U. Fantastic. Okay, 2 minutes starts now. All right, thank you, Year 8s. Now, as we recall our figurative language, we will be taking notes in our book. Now, you must take notes on the type of figurative language device. You must also write down one of the examples I have given you, and then you will also be creating your own example. Okay, so what is a simile? Does anyone know? Can anyone tell me what a simile is? Yes? Not quite. Thank you for having a go. So a simile compares one thing to another using the words like or as. Writing that down in our books. So an example might be, she was as brave as a lion. Can anyone think of another example? Yeah, that's an excellent example. Now, with your partner, I would like you to think of an example and write it down in your book. Right. Which partners would like to share their similes with the class? Yes? Fantastic. Thanks for having a go. Who else would like to share? Wonderful. That's a great simile. Great job, everyone. All right, let's move on. Now we're going to look at a metaphor. So essentially a metaphor is when you, once again, are comparing something to something else, but you are using the word is. So life is a roller coaster, maybe life is a highway. Once again, I would like you to think of another example with your pair, and then we will share together. So are we all good? Thumbs up if you're done. Thumbs down if you need some more time. Okay, we're all good. All right, which pairs would like to share this time? Yes? Fantastic. Okay, great work, everyone. Okay, class, 3, 2, eyes at the front, and 1. Thank you for your attention. We are now looking at a hyperbole. So that is when we exaggerate something. So you could say, I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. That is exaggeration. So I want you to take notes on this one, and then once again, come up with one with your partner, and then we will be moving on to personification. All right, finally, listening up please. I should see eyes towards the front and pens down. Fantastic. So what is personification? That's right, that's when we give a non-human object, human characteristics. So, the sun kissed my cheeks, or the flowers danced in the wind. I would like you to come up with one example, write it down in your book, and then pop your pen on the table once you're done so we can move on. Fantastic work, grade 8s. All right, we now have 5 minutes to answer the following comprehension questions and find examples of figurative language. So you are going to the poem Afternoon Rides, and also the poem Bam Bam, and we are looking at the different examples of figurative language. Once you have done, pens down, and then we will be moving on. Alright, 3, 2, and 1. Thank you for your attention, Year 8s. We will now be moving on with a group activity. So for the following group activity, we're going to split up into groups. So group 1, you will be looking at the poem Bam Bam. Group 2, poem 8.2. Group 3, poem 2.2. And group 4, you will be looking at the poem Hockey. So your task is to have a look in those poems and identify at least one example of figurative language each, and then write your notes and present your findings in our class OneNote. So who can repeat those instructions back to me? Thank you. Yes, that's correct. Fantastic work, grade 8s. Hands up if anyone has any other questions before we begin. Fabulous. If you need some help, pop up your hand and I will come around. Alright, grade 8s, for our final activity today, we will be using our knowledge and our skills on figurative language to write a paragraph using the structure on the board that we have gone over for the last 4 or 5 lessons. So our activity is to answer the question, how has Bindi used vocabulary choices and figurative language to construct an authentic First Nations voice? So within our paragraphs, we must, who can read number 1? Yep. Fantastic. Number 2, please, for me. Yep, number 3. Fantastic. And number 4 is to use appropriate spelling, grammar, and sentence structure. So we need to make sure that within our paragraph we are doing all of these things. If you need some help, this is our example prep paragraph about Bindi's resilience in the novel that we did last lesson that you can use as an exemplar. Thank you for working hard, Year 8. The previous video presents a provision of clear and unambiguous instructions, precise explanations and questions relevant to teaching a Year 8 English class a lesson on figurative language as part of the Novel Studies unit. The communication strategies, resources and techniques during the class have been purposely used to advance student learning and engage a variety of student learners. The active learning technique of think, pair, share was effectively used during the lesson. Students were asked to partner with the students sitting next to them and share their own example of a metaphor. This technique provides learners time to organise their thoughts prior to sharing and allows all learners the opportunity to explain their thinking. The last step of randomly calling on pairs to share within the class encourages pairs to stay on task. Therefore, this technique is purposeful in engaging a variety of student learners. Additionally, group work can also be evidenced when the students are working together to find examples of figurative language. Studies have shown that small group sessions increase interaction and also allow different learners the opportunity to participate more readily. Therefore, the group task was used to encourage classroom participation and engagement. During the lesson, non-verbal communication also plays a significant role in the complex teaching and learning processes. A successful non-verbal communication is found to influence the teacher's clarity and teaching practices such as class time management and is positively associated with student understanding of the topic and delivery. Non-verbal communication is exemplified throughout the lesson where eye contact is maintained to convey attentiveness, encourage participation, and establish connection. Through the use of gestures and hand movements, points are also emphasised and students can be signalled to respond. Additionally, body language and facial expressions also convey enthusiasm, approachability, and are used to gain the attention of the class. Counting down, such as saying 3, 2, 1, is an example of this. Verbal communication is also evidenced when explaining the new concepts to the class by providing information and giving instructions for classroom activities through spoken words. Low order thinking is evident during the class where students were asked to recall information and apply knowledge. For example, through effective questioning, students were asked if anyone could remember what they learnt last lesson. Students were also asked, who can repeat the instructions back to me? This is an effective questioning technique and can promote and enhance the active learning and cognitive skill development that is evident in theoretical foundations such as Vygotsky and Piaget. Low-order thinking is also evident where students were asked to do a think, pair, share activity on metaphors and similes. Progress checks were also used to ensure that students were on track and understanding the content. By asking students to indicate with their thumbs if they were progressing well with their note-taking, it was possible to identify who needed more time or who didn't understand. A variety of resources were also used to create an effective and engaging learning environment. Therefore, it was possible to address diverse learning styles. Peer collaboration was also used, such as group work and discussions, while technology such as laptops and OneNote were used to ensure everyone had access to the group notes of each poem. Finally, the PowerPoint presentation was intentionally created to be visually appealing and engaging to encourage students to actively participate in the presentation by answering questions, discussing topics, and completing set tasks. OneNote is also a valuable resource and ensures that all content can be accessed by all students. The Year 8 English lesson and the accompanying analysis highlight a thoughtful and effective approach to teaching a Year 8 English class how to identify and analyse figurative language in the novels such as Bindi, with a particular focus on catering to students from diverse backgrounds. I have identified the use of various strategies and techniques to engage students and ensure equitable access to the curriculum. These strategies are supported by educational theory and research findings, including a sound pedagogical foundation. In my teaching, I have recognised the importance of catering to the specific needs of students from diverse backgrounds, including those with disabilities. Students from diverse cultural and linguistic backgrounds, and students from various social economic backgrounds. For students with disabilities, adjustments have been made to the learning environment and resources. For example, the use of technology and digital resources such as OneNote ensures accessibility and accommodates individual needs. Additionally, providing clear non-verbal instructions and using non-verbal cues like gestures, eye contact aids in making the content more accessible. To address the needs of students from diverse cultural and linguistic backgrounds, the curriculum has been enriched with culturally relevant materials and diverse perspectives. This helps make it more inclusive and relatable. Additionally, glossaries are also provided to support students with limited English proficiency. For students with diverse socio-economic backgrounds, considerations have also been made to provide equitable access to learning resources. All resources are available on the class OneNote to ensure that all students have the tools they need to succeed. Literacy skills are incorporated into the classroom through a variety of different ways. While reading the novel Bindi, students are also required to interpret and analyse the text. Additionally, they are required to show their understanding and knowledge by writing an analytical paragraph that analyses the impact of figurative language in the novel. Therefore, students are actively practicing emphasising clarity, coherence, and organisation in their writing. The integration of reading and writing activities, clear instructions for written work, and guidance on research, reading, and note-taking strategies demonstrates an effort to address literacy needs. These practices align with theories of literacy development and effective reading and writing instruction, which are crucial in English and across all other subject areas. This micro-teaching portfolio has helped my understanding of why teaching students from diverse backgrounds requires such a flexible and adaptable approach. It is essential to be open to different learning styles and continually seek professional development to better understand the needs of diverse learners. I've also recognised the significance of fostering a sense of belonging and creating a safe and inclusive learning environment. When students feel valued and respected, they are more likely to engage actively in their learning. For future practice, I plan to continue refining these strategies and seek further professional development. Specifically, I aim to explore more resources and strategies for supporting students with disabilities, enhancing the cultural responsiveness of my curriculum, and addressing the socio-economic disparities. Overall, this micro-teaching portfolio demonstrates a comprehensive and well-informed approach to catering to students from diverse backgrounds in the English teaching area. The adjustment of content, processes, and resources is guided by a sound educational theory and research-based practices, resulting in an inclusive and effective learning environment. Continued professional development and a commitment to inclusive teaching will further improve the ability to meet the needs of diverse learners in the future.